In today's video, I want to show you how I managed to play football in the under 17 Bundesliga. At this time, I was playing in the same league like Julian Draxler, who later on was able to win the FIFA World Cup with Germany in Brazil in 2014. First, there is the mindset. You need to be 100% sure that this is the thing you really want to do in life. This is what makes you happy, what gives you energy, what motivates you, and what you dream about the most in your entire life. Only then you would have the right mindset to really continue doing what you do. Second, you also need to be quite successful in this. You need to realize from the beginning, oh, it seems like I'm really doing it well, and I think I can even get better, and I can be really good in this. Because if you're not really successful in what you're doing, it's also quite difficult to enjoy it and to be passionate about it, of course. And besides that, you also, of course, need to have commitment. So you need to really continue doing it no matter what happens, because not all the time it will be sunshine. There will also be dark days, like a lot of frustration, because a lot of things do not work like you wish they would do. I started playing football when I was 7 years old, and I really enjoyed it. I loved it so much, playing all the time. And I realized I also was not too bad at it when I played against other kids at that time. However, of course, the older you get and the higher the competition, the more difficult it is. And of course, you will have days where you're failing, like you're playing really bad because other guys are much better than you, or you get an injury. So there's a lot of things that happens that frustrates you. So if you do not enjoy it, if you're really not happy about it, but also if you're really not that good at it, I would not recommend you to do it. Second, there is the habit. If you decide to do something 100%, you really need to do it consistently. And this means you basically need to do it every day. You need to work hard, you need to improve, because time is running, and I can tell you there's somebody else out there who loves it even more than you, doing the thing you're doing, and who's probably working even harder. That should not frustrate you. That is just something to keep in mind. There will always be somebody better than you at the end, but that's no problem. If you're passionate about it, if you give 100% or even more, and you bring yourself to the highest level, you will probably achieve a lot. If you enjoy it and if you're quite good in that. So for me personally, I practice football every day since I was a young kid. I worked out once per day mostly, but also other days like twice a day. So after school I would go to my club, and we would practice like 1.5 hours in the evening, and sometimes I even had like extra workouts before the official workout. So I would do some technical practice, which includes things like passing or dribbling, before the actual workout. So that's a lot of time you put into this kind of activity. And even when I had a day off, I would also work for myself. I would go jogging, or I would do technical practice or tactic practice. So if we had like pre-season, I would also get like a plan for what to do. During this time, I would also probably practice like twice or 3 times a day, which would include like running in the morning, for example. After that, doing some stretching, some muscle strength workout, and later on do some technical practices. Third, and probably the most important factor for everything you want to do, and also in the case of being a football player on a very high level, is the talent. This is probably 90 to 95% of the reason to be successful. In my opinion, the better word than talent is luck. How to explain that a bit more? Well, first of all, I was just lucky to play on this high level because I got the right genetics. I was tall, I have an athletic body, and without that, I would never ever be able to play on that level. If I had a really bad injury, I was not able to run fast anymore. That's it, game over. Besides that, of course, you also really need to have support from your teammates, from coaches. You need to play your best game at the right time. I mean, if the people watch you play, the scouts or whoever, and at that time you have a really bad day, well, that's not really good for you. And I also realized that many times when we heard somebody's watching the matches, at that time I was probably performing really much worse than normal. So that's also like a big thing. So mostly I was really happy when nobody told me anything about it. Some guys are watching, and that time I was performing much better. Furthermore, I also had a lot of support from my parents. Like, I mean, without my parents, I would not be able to succeed in that. My dad always drove me to all the places I had to be to practice football, to save a lot of time. And my mom also took care of me. She cooked for the food, she washed all my clothes, so without them would be impossible. Finally, I find it also very important to have a personal coach. This was a very big game changer for me. I was lucky that I had a friend of my dad who was quite a successful footballer in the past, who helped me a lot. Basically, we always spoke about my performances and what's going on. So he would watch the game in which I was playing. We also recorded the matches. So after the matches, we would analyze them, and we would talk about mistakes I did, things I did very well, and what to improve. By this, we also took a look at the guys I played against, so then we could analyze for the second time we played against the same team, the same players. I already knew what to focus on, what kind of player is this, what to take care of. I mean, I was a defender, so I was basically playing against strikers. At this time, I was playing against a guy like Philipp Hofmann, for example, who plays for Bochum at the moment in the first Bundesliga. He was the best striker at this season, played for Schalke 04, and for me it was quite easier to handle him, so he didn't score any goal against me. However, on the other side, other kind of guys that really drove me crazy and was much harder to play against them, more like the Messi type. So at this time I also played against Kerem Demirbay, for example, who played for Bayern 04 Leverkusen in the first Bundesliga. This kind of guy was like so skillful and so fast, so it was really difficult for me to play against this kind of player type, and he made life really difficult for me. At the end, I just want to say that I really enjoyed doing this as a kid. It was really fantastic time. I played on such a high level. I brought myself to the best version possible at this time. I played against fantastic players at the greatest football fields I could ever imagine. And I learned so much about life and about success that, yeah, like I said, you need to have the right habits, the right mindset, passion, and yeah, mostly still luck. And this gave me the foundation for my life and for my future. And I would recommend everybody to do that when you're young, to try to be very successful in sports. And yeah, the downside, of course, you're not having much time for other things, for things people doing at this time, like going to parties, like meeting friends, just enjoying life, eating ice cream, I don't know, whatever. However, I still love it, would do it again, would recommend it to anybody.